Hey guys, welcome to the session by Intellipaat. Data analytics is considered as an important aspect in any data-driven business today. Top companies like Google, Facebook, Amazon and many more use data analytics to drive their business to success. In today's session, we'll be having a quick introduction to the world of data analytics. Before we get started, please do subscribe to Intellipaat's YouTube channel to get some instant notification about our upcoming videos. Now let's take a look at the agenda for the day. We'll start off by understanding what is data analytics. Then we'll move on to understand the need of data analytics in an organization. Thirdly, we will also find out who are data analysts and what are the roles, responsibilities, tasks that they would be doing on a daily basis. Fourthly, we will also deep dive into the types of data analytics and its life cycle. Finally, we will also check out the use case on data analytics. And if you have any questions, clarifications, concerns, please put it down in the comment section below. We are glad and happy to help you out. Also guys, if you are interested in an end-to-end course in data analytics, please do check out Intellipaat's data analytics training course that would help you to master the concepts of data analytics thoroughly. Details for the same is available in the description box below. Without any further delays, now let's get started.
We've all heard this term somewhere. It pretty much rings a bell that every time we think about it, right? So analytics with respect to data. Well, what are we trying to analyze is what we need to know here, right? So the formal definition of how it goes, it's basically extracting meaningful information from raw data. It's as simple as that. So we have data, right? So consider anything to be data. If that is not useful to you at that point, it is considered as data. But then if you perform some operation on this data and make sure that it is useful for your organization, this is when the data becomes information. And this information is what is usable for you, right? So the process of pretty much converting raw data into information by performing certain analysis on it can be termed as data analytics, guys. I mean, this is just a very rough definition of what goes in the industry. To give you a better insight of what that means, basically it is the pursuit of extracting meaning from raw data using specialized computer systems, guys. And then these systems, they transform, they organize and they model the data. End of it is to basically draw the conclusions from all of the data. So you'll have, again, as I've mentioned with the raw example, our goal here is to basically draw conclusions, to identify patterns, to make use of this raw information in a better way. I mean, sure, data can just be used in its raw form, but then not with every case, right? And to give you an example, so think of the data probably you understand. So let's say you're looking at a huge data set which contains thousands of values. Those are just numbers, right? So having these numbers, sure, as a data analyst, you will understand what you're doing. But then let's say you need to explain it to a person who doesn't know what data analytics is, or you need to explain it to someone, probably your peer or someone above you as well. Let's say you have a business meeting where you have to explain this. Giving the numbers will not really be that great, right? It will not make a very good presentation. So converting all of these numerical data, making it into graphs, making it in a way where everyone understands the data, and showing out graphically whatever insights that you can generate from the data, that can be considered as data analytics as well, guys. Again, today basically the field of data analytics is ever so growing rapidly. And why is it growing so rapidly? Well, because the market demand for it is that much. So we have pretty much every startup companies these days have a requirement for big data as well. So big data, to dumb down the definition, it pretty much means a huge amount of data that cannot be handled by just one machine. If you're stretching out your data across multiple nodes, you have data coming in from various sources. Then you need a method to handle all of this big data that's coming in, to process the data and then to perform analysis on it, guys. So this has been in demand in the market for a while, and for the last couple of years, data analytics has been in the boom, and then it's providing a very straight answer to all of the questions being raised about how all these can be handled, guys. And of course, we're going to need the people who have the skills which is needed, skills which are needed to manipulate all the data queries, to translate all these numbers into graphs, and to make insightful analysis on it, right? So that's what is the main key role of a data analytic person. What is the need for data analytics if we have to break it down into 3 steps, guys? So again, we already know that it is on the rise, right? So I can pretty much go about to step out into the open and then tell you that it is not soon that it will be an integral part of an organization. It is already an integral part. of every organization there is, guys.
So a quick info guys, in case you are interested in doing an end-to-end course in data analytics, please do check out Intellipaat's data analytics training course. It will help you to master the concepts of data analytics thoroughly. Details for the same is available in the description box below. Please do check out.
So the first important need is, again, we already know that it is a top priority for all of these organizations, ranging from the small organizations all the way to the big guys. And then this is needed to make very good decision making. Well, with respect to you being confused to, let's say, take a decision for you, then looking at this analytics will make your decision making skills and decision taking skills a little bit easier, and it will be more validable as well, guys. And it will be more validated as well, guys. And the second thing is to we require new revenue, right? So let's say you have the data which pretty much only a couple of people can make sense of understand. Let's say your market is very niche. In that case, sure, you'll be still making revenue, still be making money on it. But then at the end of the day, if you have to reach out to a broader audience, you need to make sure your data is understood by this broader audience, right? So that forms the second very important need for data analytics, guys. And the third one is to obviously decrease these operation costs for every organization. So this can be a very demanding task if you have to convert raw data into information, process the data, and make out very good visualizations out of it as well. But then if you have the workforce for it, then sure, you can do it. But if not, again, since it's probably a manual task, and until a couple of years ago it surely was a manual task, and these days you can implement machine learning and data analytics to pretty much automate itself and make your job easier as well. It speeds up your work. It keeps you very efficient in such a way where your data is being visualized, processed very effectively. So again, time is money when it comes to big organizations, right? So on that note, pretty much it helps decrease all of the operational costs with respect to, either waiting in the data pipeline, or waiting to process, waiting to publish, waiting to do some analytics, waiting for visualization. All of these waits, you need not consider them anymore, because they will pretty much be reduced to null, guys. So on that note, you might be wondering, who are data analysts, right? So data analysts are the people who sit at the end of the chain. I'll just explain the chain in the next slide. So these guys form a very good workforce for the company, where they basically deliver the values by taking in all the data that data scientist might give it to them, a data engineer might give it to them, and then he uses this person, data analyst, uses all of these to answer a couple of questions and then communicate all of the results back. And all these results that he just gives back is basically used to take very good business decisions, guys. It might include analytics of past trends, it may be prediction of what the future looks like, and so much more. And then the common tasks done by data analysts are data cleaning, performing analytics, and then creating visualizations. Well, data cleaning, to come about it, is basically simple, guys. So again, data is raw information, right? To make sense out of it, to pick out information that we only require, and to make sure that, again, efficiency is the game here. If you're pretty much processing data that we pretty much will not require, then it's just a waste of time and resource. So cleaning the data, making sure that your data is just perfect enough for processing, that's a very important first step, guys. So this is the spearhead of a data analyst's role. And then the second one is, obviously, as soon as your data is clean, you need to perform some very good analytics on it and create very good visualizations, guys. So these four designations you see on the screen right now is basically the designations a data analyst is also known by. So the first is a business analyst. So data analyst is also a business analyst. He or she can be an operations analyst, a business intelligence analyst, and a database analyst as well, guys. So coming to the tasks that they pretty much do, the first important task that we already spoke about was cleaning and organizing raw unstructured data, right? So this is again a very overlooked concept in today's world, unless you get your hands dirty with the data itself. When you start to go about doing that, you will realize that cleaning and organizing the raw data is extremely important, because at the end of it, your data might be unstructured, your data might be semi-structured, or it might be a structured data. This will not matter if the data you're processing is of no use at the end, guys. So cleaning and organizing raw data is very important. And then the second thing is the analysis of all of the hidden trends found in the data. So making sense of something, again, maybe predictions in the future or looking at past trends, generating this sort of an information which you cannot figure out upfront just by looking at the data. This is pretty much the umbrella under which the hidden trends function of a data analyst's work. So you'll be looking at a data, you'll find something very interesting. So let's say you find a trend in your data where pretty much you can access a new side of the market with respect to your sales in the next 5 years, 10 years. And then you were not told this, but then your data was telling you this. So you making sense of the data in which this trend was found, which was not upfront, then this is again a very important skill of a data analyst as well, guys. And the third important thing is pretty much the big picture view using descriptive statistics. At the end of it, sure, we know what the past trends of the company are, we know how the company is going on now, but then if you need to just summarize all of this and say even add some predictions for the next 5-10 years, getting this big picture view of what's happened, what's happening now, and what will happen in the future, not just using very simple statistics, but using descriptive statistics where we'll be picking up each aspect of what's going on and then perform analytics on it and find out what's going on. If we are right at this place, if we are wrong at this place, how can this be improved? How can this concept be checked? How can we reach the clients better, and so much more. So getting this big picture view is again a very important task a data analyst goes about doing, guys. And the fourth one is probably the most important thing a data analyst does, is pretty much the creation of dashboards and visualizations, guys. So as I already told you in the introduction part of the video, where we're starting out with raw information, again a lot of numbers, but if you have to show these numbers at a business meeting, numbers are numbers, some people like them, but a majority of the people who they might not understand the numbers. So making these numbers as your input, creating very good visualizations, giving them a user interface, and giving your customers, your peers, your superiors, your business meeting members, giving them a very good user experience with all of this data. Again, at the end of it will add up to very good business methodologies, and then it will help you take better business driven decisions again. And again, the same goes for presentations of results to your clients and your internals as well, guys. So coming to the chain of how the data moves around in a firm, I have 3 important things that I just want to walk you through, guys, in a quick gist. So the first person who is the spearhead of the data for an organization. By spearhead, I mean he's the first one who look at the data, or he'll be responsible for bringing in all of the data from various sources, guys. So data coming in from the various sources, right? So think about all the data you can get from Twitter, or if you're performing any sentiment analysis, think of all the data that can come from all of the big data sources. You can have data coming from your various nodes from Hadoop, so much more. You can have your data coming from your own network, away from your network, and so much more, guys. So the data engineer is the spearhead who handles bringing in the data and making it understandable by the organization, guys. And then as soon as the data engineer finishes his part with the data moves on to the data scientist. The data scientist, he's responsible for working on all of these raw data, converting it into valid information. But then we already told this for the data analyst as well. Well, the data scientist pretty much uses machine learning algorithms. He uses deep learning. He uses, let's say, binary classifications, naive bias. He makes use of so many concepts here that a data analyst might not know. And he uses a lot of machine learning and deep learning, as I've already mentioned, to convert this raw data into valid information. And 99% of the time, the information which is being converted into are numbers, guys. So after the data scientist pretty much goes about doing his magic onto the data, and then we have the data analyst who steps in. This person, again, as we've already been mentioning, he is responsible for the prediction of what happens in the future, that is finding out trends, and then the presentation of all these informations to your peers, to your clients, to your superiors, and so much more. This is the basic gist of how data moves around. So the data is first seen by the data engineer. He does his job, comes to the data scientist. The data scientist works his magic via all these fancy algorithms and whatnot, and then pushes the data to the data analyst performs predictions, sees trends, visualizes the data, makes it presentable for everyone to understand, and then eventually goes about analyzing the data, guys. So on that note, we can come check out the type of data analytics that can be done in today's business, guys. There are a couple of types of data analytics, and I'll be walking you through the same. So the first type of data analytics you can go about doing is the descriptive analytics. With respect to descriptive analytics, again, the quick phrase answer to what descriptive analytics is.
So a quick info, guys, in case you are interested in doing an end-to-end course in data analytics, please do check out Intellipaat's data analytics training course. It will help you to master the concepts of data analytics thoroughly. Details for the same is available in the description box below. Please do check out.
Is basically picking out data from a source or summarizing your data, making sure your data can be understood by everyone, that is picking out very good insights from your data, from all the past events, doing some predictive analytics on that as well, and then keeping it ready so your data is descriptive at the end of the day. And a question which goes by to understand the descriptive analytics is what happened in my business. So the answer to this question, what happened in my business, is given to by the descriptive analytics, guys. So most of the time the data which is generated by descriptive analytics is very comprehensive, it is extremely accurate, and the visualizations are very effective as well. So here's a very simple scenario that you guys can consider. So consider a scenario where an e-learning website decides to focus on a trending course according to the analytics of the search volume of the course content, which pretty much the users go on searching, and all of the revenue generated by the course in the past few months as well. So there are certain technologies, again, we live in a world full of trends, right? So let's say data science is in the boom right now. So pretty much any e-learning company, or any company for that matter, they're going to find these trends. They're going to know that, hey, data science is sitting in the top tier and we need to do something about it. If they have students in data science, then most of these companies are aimed at making the students' life better, right? So even as a firm here in Intellipaat, that's exactly what we do as well. We get this amazing insight from all of our learners for any particular course, and we use all of those insights, all of the feedback that we get, and what's trending in the market, what's latest in the market, and we use all of these to perform analytics, and then pretty much all of these helps us to put out a better course as well, guys. So at the end of it, you can already see how the descriptive analysis is already helping our business, right? And then the next type of data analytics we can check out is the diagnostic analytics, guys. So we already checked out what is happening to my business with respect to descriptive analytics. With respect to diagnostic analytics, you will check out of why this particular thing is happening to my business, guys. To simplify it, again, it basically gives you the ability to drill down to the root cause of why something is behaving just like how it should, guys. So drilling down the data to identify certain set of problems which are present in your data or in the trends that the data shows is a very vital part of diagnostic analytics, guys. And then it basically helps in answering the question for us about why the issue has occurred, So it just takes one look towards the data, towards the analytic result of the data, to understand what the cause behind a problem, if one should exist, as guys. So again, to give you a very simple scenario of how diagnostic analytics would work, let's say consider a company where the sales went down for a month. So let's say they weren't doing as good as the previous months. So to diagnose this particular problem, you will let's say consider the situation where the number of employees were quitting their job and they weren't bringing in a lot of sales. So this could pretty much, this number of people quitting the company could directly impact the sales that they brought into the company. So the sales went down this month because they did not have the company right. They did not have the sales right. So finding out why this is happening and hunting for that root cause, which is basically a treasure hunt with your data, where you go on finding something and taking insights from your data. Finding out that why part of it is extremely important, where you'll be finding out what's happening to the data and why it's behaving this way, guys. So this again is a very vital part of diagnostic analytics. And coming to the third type of data analytics, it is predictive data analytics, guys. And as the name suggests, the quick question you'll be asking is what will happen in the future based on the past trends, guys. So finding out, hunting out, historical patterns that are being used to basically predict all these specific outcomes using, let's say, machine learning algorithms, using deep learning, and using so many more concepts to predict something in the future based on the data we have now is again a very important niche of data analytics, guys. So predicting the future trends and the possibilities in the market based on the current trends is self-explanatory. And then it helps in optimizing all of the business plans for the future because now your business has a direction to head to, right? So you're predicting certain aspects in the future and you know which path leads to better business strategies, right? And this will give you an edge over all of the other businesses as well. To give you a very nice example, think of the Netflix recommendation systems, guys. So this will basically use statistical modeling to analyze all the content that it's being watched by the audience across the world. So let's say there are a couple of TV shows which are very famous in India, but then there might be a couple of TV shows which is trending in the United States and let's say Australia, United Kingdom, so much more. Making sure that the right users in the right geographical area get to know the right recommendations are extremely important for Netflix as a business, right? So this again, predictive analytics will just do them good there, guys. Again, it will provide us with the prediction of all of the upcoming content and the shows that must be watched by all the different class of audience as well. So let's say someone sitting in the United States is very interested in watching an Indian trending television series as well. So knowing Netflix, finding out that this person exists and to recommend an Indian TV show for this person sitting in the United States to watch. Again, this is another very good business opportunity for Netflix. And then if they go about nailing their recommendation system for everyone, it just makes them a better business model, and then it just makes a better user environment for the users to go about watching videos there, guys. So the next type of data analytics is prescriptive data analytics. So as soon as we think of a prescription, again, we think of a doctor, we think of something, a medical appointment or something, right? Here it's again something similar. The question which will be asked here is what should be done? So applying advanced analytical algorithms to ensure that you make very good recommendations, you make sure you're punching out very good strategies that help the business and so much more is a very vital part of prescriptive analytics, guys. So it basically involves breaking down all of this complex information into a very simple set of steps. And these steps are like the prescription we handed out when we visit the doctor, right? And these are the prescriptions which are precautious as well, let's say. They're the precautions basically used to remove any of the future problems that might occur, and it will also help in performing predictive analysis. This will basically help to predict outcome, and eventually that will help us optimizing business as well, guys. So this again demands the use of artificial intelligence and big data, and then the data analyst person will always be in touch with the data engineer as well and the data scientist as well, because he's going to need all the help he can get with respect to artificial intelligence from the data scientist and help with respect to big data from the data engineer as well, right? So all these three guys working in correlation make up a business, and I've already told you that. So again, to give you a common scenario of how this would happen, consider the prescriptive data analytics that Google Map goes about doing, right? So every day we are commuting from our office to our homes, or let's say we're going on a vacation and then we need to get out of the city as quick as possible. So Google Maps has a wonderful API where they map out the best possible route considering live traffic conditions, weather conditions, road closures, and so much more. It considers your distance, traffic constraints, and again, as I already told you, it even considers if it's raining, if you're walking, what's the best route that you can take to walk, what's the best route to take if you're on a car. And now they've come up with the bike route as well. So if you're in a moped or a bike, you can take a different route compared to the person who'd commute with the car, and so much more. So knowing this kind of a prediction into the future and giving you this sort of a prescription to ensure you don't run into any problems along the way is a very important part of prescriptive data analytics, guys. So on that note, let's quickly check out what the life cycle of data analytics is like. So the data analytics lifestyle, it basically defines the analytics process and all of the best practices which goes on from the discovery of the data or the project till the completion of this project, guys. So there are a couple of steps involved in this life cycle process, and the first one is business understanding. At the end of it, again, understanding the purpose and all of the requirements that come from your business and understanding it from the business viewpoint is very important and vital for the functioning of a business, right? This also consists of a very good introductory plan. It consists of a decision plan. It consists of a formal to-do list, let's say, for the business to go on to achieving the target. So the first important thing about the life cycle is the understanding of what's going on around you, and the second one is the data understanding, guys. With respect to data understanding, again, this mainly involves the process where we're collecting the data and we're processing the data in a way which leads to analytics. And then after the analysis of the data is done, we need to pick up some insights that we can go about using from the data.
So a quick info, guys, in case you are interested in doing an end-to-end course in data analytics, please do check out Intellipaat's data analytics training course. It will help you to master the concepts of data analytics thoroughly. Details for the same is available in the description box below. Please do check out.
So extracting all of these meaningful insights from the data, again, is a very vital step in the life cycle of data analytics through data understanding, guys. The third part of it is data preparation. So data preparation is the, let's say, converting the data from an unstructured form to a structured form. And this involves constructing, let's say, a data set as well. And then this data set will be provided and fed into a model. And then this model will be used by a machine learning algorithm to train, to understand, to see what's going on, to perform predictions. And then it will be given to the data analyst to be visualized using Tableau or any other business intelligence tools and so much more. So data preparation, again, is a very important phase where the data is actually being transformed, and even at the stage, the cleansing of the data is pretty much performed as well, guys. And then comes modeling. This step is very important because it involves the selection of various modeling techniques, applying all of these modeling techniques, making sure the parameters are right and all of the readings here are right to ensure that your data being converted into the information, raw data being converted into the information is of the optimal, let's say, it's of the optimal tolerance that can be used for your business usage. And then as soon as your modeling part of it is done, as soon as the techniques are applied and all the parameters are marked, then comes evaluation, guys. So evaluation is a very important phase where, again, the model which is being built, it will be built very rigorously, tested very rigorously based on what you've built in the initial stages, and then so many tests will be performed on this data as well. So evaluating something that you have generated, performing various tests on it is extremely important. Most of the time this is overlooked, but then these days everyone knows the value of evaluating your data, guys. So this again involves reviewing all of the steps that are again needed to carry out to construct this particular model and to perform tests on it is very important. And with evaluation, that's exactly what we do, guys. So the next life cycle concept I want to tell you guys is deployment. Deployment is the last step in the data analytics life cycle, because deploying is when you're sending out your model into the world for, let's say, by the world I mean, let's say, for your team, for your peers, or let's say even for your client and customers as well. So making your data go from just you seeing it all the way till spreading the data and spreading the data to your clients, to your peers, or anyone else. If you can perform more tests on these as well. So after deployment, you can have after deployment tests. If something is wrong, again, you can go back to modeling, perform more evaluation, perform more deployment as well. So the thing you need to know here is that deployment pretty much goes about to be the final phase of the data analytics lifestyle, guys. And on that note, we can check out very quickly what are the roles of analytics in various industries around us, guys. Again, data analytics has an amazing insight and impact when it comes to the telecom industry, because again, if you've been observing, all the prices of let's say the calls, the messages, or the internet packs these days have been coming down and down. And there was a time when they were being exorbitantly high as well. So again, the telecom industry realized that if you keep the prices very high to make more profits, then eventually your customers will not come. They will not buy the internet packs. So to keep this in mind, probably they decided, let's say we're having a bad impact right now, so let's drop down our prices to see if it works. And it is, I guess. And this has helped the telecom industry in bringing better business. And for us as users, this has helped us just make it a bit economical and efficient on our side with respect to money as well. And then the retail banking industry, data analytics has a huge impact in the retail banking industry as well, to know what their customer wants. Because again, with telecom industry as well, they have a huge amount of customers to play with, right? So they need to understand the view of each customer, the requirement of each customers, and then to find out if all of the customers are actually in the common chain of what's being supplied by the bank, or if the customers are against something that's being sent by the bank. So that again is a very important thing that you need to check here as well. And then with respect to the e-commerce industry as well, to perform again some analytics in the e-commerce industry, it might be ad recommendations, or there are very big sales which are run by some of the big names in the industry such as Amazon, Flipkart, Myntra, and so much more. So these guys will have to perform extremely heavy analytics on the data that they see, based on the products that they sell, and based on the places, based on the city in which the product sells, or if the people are unhappy with the price. Again, performing analytics has just changed the e-commerce industry, if you may, guys. And last most important industry where data analytics has touched is the healthcare industry. This has had the most impact with respect to analytics in the healthcare industry with respect to so many things. Mainly it is with respect to finding out what medication is required by what countries, what amount of medication is working for what population, and so much more, guys. I can probably talk about just the roles of analytics in these industries for days together, and we can still be going on and have a very good discussion of how important analytics has become these days. Again, with respect to insurance as well, what geographical location requires insurance, what the audience are, and so much more. So again, as I've said, we can go on talking about this, but then to keep it to the scope of this tutorial, we can just quickly brief through each of these guys. So with respect to the healthcare industry, this is the formal way of going about analytics. The first one is to again analyze all of these disease patterns, analyze all of the disease outbreak that pretty much goes out. We had a disease outbreak a couple of years back, which is Ebola, and so much more. We had H1N1 and so much more, right? To keep a track of all of these outbreaks, this basically again improves the surveillance with respect to health, and then this gives out good responses to the emergency sectors as well, guys. And then development of better targeted preventive techniques, obviously, and then with the development of vaccines, making sure your vaccines again reach your customers, and all of these where you need to reach your customers, or let's say in this case the patients, are very important, guys. So identifying the consumers again in this is the greatest risk of business. So identifying certain customers or patients who are at the greatest risk is again, because they might be developing some adverse health outcomes, and then developing welfare programs to keep a track of their health, to track their health on a daily basis, even a weekly basis, monthly basis, to perform analytics on all of the aspects and the parameters that you're tracking with respect to the patients. Again, that is a very important thing. And lastly, to ensure that they can reduce readmissions, because they might know what the cause of an adverse effect is. And if there are 10 patients with very similar symptoms, then you can perform analysis, and you can at least filter out and find out that all of these 10 patients might have this one common symptom associated with them, and this might be the cause of that. So mapping that for every patient is again very important, guys. So coming to the telecom industry, again, telecom industry pretty much goes about using predictive analysis to gain all of the insights that they need to make better decisions, to make faster decisions, and to make more effective decisions. Again, as I was talking about the internet pack example, again, this was very key in that. And then by learning more and more about their customers daily, and the preferences and the needs, these telecom companies can be more successful in this extremely highly competitive industry as well. well. It's good for them with respect to business, and it is good for us as customers by bringing down the prices again. So it is used for analytical customer relationship management. It is used for fraud reduction. It is used for bad debt reduction. It's used for price optimization, call center optimization, and so much more. So now that you're looking at data analytics in this way, you realize that data analytics eventually has a big play or has a big say when it comes to any of these business models, right? So again, coming to banking, as I've already mentioned, analytics is making banks become very smart day by day, guys. So it is managing all of the plethora of challenges that the bank faces, and then again, while pretty much going about doing some basic reporting all the way till descriptive analytics, and this is all a must for every single bank, right? Even performing, let's say, advanced prescriptive analytics or so much more, and all these are starting at this age. Banks have started to realize that this will again help you generate very good insights, and this will result in extremely good business impact, and it will help the banks as well. On that note, we need to check out how data analytics is helping in the banking industry as well, right? So it is used to acquire and retain customers. It is used to detect fraud, which is again extremely important with respect to banking. It is used to improve risk control, find new sources of growth for the bank, and to optimize all of the product and generate their portfolio models as well. So as soon as we check out the banking sector again with the e-commerce industry, right? So this is a market which is exploding for the last couple of years. I can say even the decade, right? eBay came up, Flipkart came up, Amazon is again taking over everything, Myntra, Nykaa. Guys, there are so many e-commerce portals today, and to make sure we perform very good analytics on these e-commerce industries is very vital. So how is data analytics used? Again, it is used to improve user experiences. It is used to enhance customer engagement, customize offers and promotions, maintain effective supply chain management, optimize pricing models, minimize the risk of frauds, provide them very good advertisements that pretty much help them pick up products, good recommendation systems where they'll pick up another product after the first product, guys, and so much more. If you've just bought an iPhone, again, you will pretty much be recommended with a couple of cases that the people have bought as soon as they bought another iPhone. So you might be that person, you might like the case and you might pick it up. At the end of it, you have the case to protect your phone. The business just created more money out of it, right? So again, the analytics, the role of analytics in e-commerce industry is extremely vital. Let's say the people in the e-commerce industry have known this for a while, guys. So coming to the analytics in the insurance industry, again, here as well, guys, this is basically used to enhance your customer engagement, acquire new customers, retain the existing customers, make sure the customers don't leave, prevent the frauds, at the end of it, reduce the frauds, prioritize all the claims that need, because you'll have medical insurance, you'll have again health insurances, you'll have life insurance, you'll have so much more that you need to take, and all of these directly impact the user, right? So making sure you take the feedback from the user, work on it, and then create some analytics out of it is again very vital, guys. So on that note, we can quickly come to our case study which I was talking about, and this case study is a very famous one. It's basically the house price case study, and here all we'll be doing is predicting house prices, guys. So we'll have a certain set of data which we will use to predict the prices of the houses. So basically, how can we predict the price of a house? There are so many things that you will need to know, right? You'll be looking at the locality in which the house is present. You'll be looking at the amenities. You'll be looking at the number of bedrooms, the living space, the number of floors in your house, or the number of cars that can fit in your garage, the size of the garage, the quality of the construction of the house, if it has a swimming pool or not, if it has a spa or not. I mean, so many things. If we have to list down this particular use case, then it will be extremely tough, because each one of us has our own judgment of how we can validate a house, right? Because house is something that's very personal to us. Again, the materials of what was used to go to build the house, the style of the house which is built in, the number of if the house has an elevator, how convenient is the house for disabled people, guys, so much more. So basically, we'll be performing exploratory analysis on this, guys. So exploratory data analysis, again, is used to find a hidden trend in your data by performing analysis on it. And then at the end of it, the trends will be shown as numbers. But since we already know visualization, we're going to be pretty much using these numbers to visualize all of the data for us. And we'll be doing it step by step. So we'll be finding correlation between the data as well. So again, correlation is basically to check how one variable is linked and how the changing of one variable directly changes the other variable as well. So how these two variables are pretty much hung up together, how changing one variable changes the other can be known using correlation as well, guys. So a couple of steps that pretty much is generally followed in the case of performing exploratory analysis. First, we'll be visualizing all of our data, finding the missing values, and we'll be looking for correlations, guys. And then after this is done, we'll be cleaning the data to check if any issues are fixed, or if we'll be checking out if the data that we have is pretty much being used fully or not. And then we'll go about building a model which is used to visualize our result. It'll give us the diagnostic, it'll give us the residual diagnostic, ROC curves, charts, graphs, tabs, tables, and so much more. Guys, I do not want to basically overwhelm you with the use case. So to keep this use case very simple, we'll just perform exploratory data analysis at this stage to find out correlations between the data. And as soon as we go about progressing with respect to our data set and to work with, you will understand how beautiful data analytics is, guys. So let me quickly jump into Google Colab, which is basically a Jupyter notebook hosted on the Google Cloud. And here we can go about performing our data analytics on the use case that I just walked you through. So we're going to need a couple of files to run our use case. We'll actually need one file, which is our training dataset file. Let me just quickly add the file to our Google Colab, and then we can go about proceeding performing our analytics, guys. So this will just take a second to upload the file. Give me a second. We just actually need one file from out here, but then it doesn't harm to upload it and keep it in your runtime. But then you just check the message, right? So pretty much all of your files are recycled as soon as the runtime is pretty much changed. So the first step for our use case is to load all of the necessary files in the libraries that we require, guys. So the first, again, we'll be using pandas to handle all of our data. We'll be using seaborn and matplotlib to perform plotting operations on all of this data, to perform visualizations on all of this data. And the style that we'll be using is pretty much called as the BMH method. And with respect to the BMH, again, BMH is nothing but the Bayesian method for hackers. And this is just a type of a graph visualization method, which gives us graphs which look nicer, and then it helps us to perform analysis better on linear data sets, guys. So the second thing we'll be doing is, again, loading all of the necessary files. One of the important files we need is the training data set, which is this. And here you have the ID of the houses, you have the subclass of where the houses is present, you have the zone in which the house is present, what is the area of the frontage that you have, what is the area lot of your house, what is the street, it's what is the alley, again, lot shape, lot contour, what is the year the house was built in, what it was remodeled in, what is the size of the roof, again, so many conditions out here. What is the foundation made of? How is the quality of the basement, condition of the basement, the exposure to the basement, again, finishing type of the basement. Guys, just look at how expansive this data set is. This is, again, a data set which is extremely popular among us analysts, where we pretty much like to work on this because it consists of everything, and you can perform so much on the single data set and so much more, guys. So on that note, let's quickly find out the information of all the variables that are present. Again, since I was just working, if the housing has heating, how is the quality control of the heating, does it have centralized air conditioning, how is the condition of the electricals, what is the square footing of the first floor, square footing of the second floor, what is the low quality finish, that's and how many square feet of that do we have, what's the living space area, how many full bathrooms do we have, how many half bathrooms do we have, kitchen quality. Guys, this will go on, right? So all these data is what we need to check out. Again, if you see here, all of these are the values that are present which will help us map something. But then alley, again, doesn't have many values. You can check out here itself, right? So alley, it's NaN is basically not a number. So there are not many, alley or details which we can make analysis out of. So we will not require alley. Again, coming down, not much of fireplace quality as well. We do not have pool quality control at all. Miscellaneous features are very less. Again, even fencing is very less. So the average is somewhere around 1400, right? So to make sure that are cleaning up our data, very important part of it is to basically how we go about doing it. Again, we'll just remove all of these data which are less than 30%. So less than 30% of, again, 1460, and then we can have at least 70% of the data to give us some accurate results, right? So as already checked, alley ID, not every house has an ID, so that's removed. Not every house is mapped to an alley. Pool quality control is not there, fence is not there, miscellaneous features are very less. So we have dropped all of these columns, and we'll not be using these to perform our analytics, guys. And so again, to describe what goes on to do a distribution, I hope you guys know this concept about normal distribution. And with respect to all of the details that we can get out of it when we perform the math operation, guys. So basically we can count the total number of data that's present, with respect to all the individual data. What is the mean sale price of the data? What is the standard deviation? Let's say the mean of the normal distribution is right at the center somewhere here, guys. So the mean is somewhere around 18,000, right? I'm sorry, this is 180,000. If you just keep tracing from the center point down, this is somewhere where 180,000 exists, guys. So again, what is standard? Standard deviation is basically the deviation from the mean. So what is there are house values which deviate from this mean as well. Again, 25% deviations, 50% deviations, 75% deviations. And then what is the maximum sale price of the house as well. So all of these can be found out from this particular graph, guys. And if you can already observe, and even if you're not exposed to a normal distribution, this starts out as a very steep curve, but then it ends out with respect to a lot of data here as well, right? It goes on until 800,000. So basically probably from 5,000 or let's say even 400,000 all the way till 800,000, we call these as outliers. These are called outliers because these are very far away from our normal distribution, and then these actually might not be useful for us with respect to our mean or whatever, and these will impact a lot when we are performing analytics with respect to the mean or the standard deviation or anything for that matter. So we will have to actually remove them and not consider them to basically perform very accurate analysis, guys. So on that note, we can pretty much go on to finding the type of the data set and the type of the data that we'll only consider, because in this particular case, since we're playing with numbers, it has to be the numeric data type, right? Again, as you can check out, we have integer numbers, we have floating numbers, and so much more. So let's pretty much go on to print what it looks like after we have dropped the values where we're not using id, we're not using alley, we're not using so much more, right? So these are all the numerical values that we'll be using to pretty much consider. Again, year built is a numerical value, 2003 is a date, a year, overall condition, overall quality, all these can be rated from a particular scale, right? So again, a square footing is a particular number as well. So the second floor of this particular house has 854 square feet, so much more. So on that particular note, as soon as we check out all of these numbers are present, we can start performing an analysis, guys. So before that, again, we need to just plot all of these to just check what it will look like on graphs, because seeing numbers are one thing, seeing graphs on the other hand are something else, right? So pretty much we'll be developing histograms and we can be checking out, guys. So let me just scroll down a little. Yeah, perfect. So with respect to first floor square footing, the mean is somewhere around here, right? So it's around, let's say 500 square foot, 1000 square foot. And again, look at second floor square footing, look at the bedroom average, basement finishing qualities, garages, so number of cars that you can park in the garage, and look at the value here too. So the majority of the houses here have 2 spaces to park your cars. The year that the garage was built in. Again, the ground floor living area, how many half bathrooms? So you can see 1 half bathrooms. Again, at this point of time, you have certain values at 0 as well. Well, sure, we can consider values of 0 if it's very important. But then since we're talking about sale price, what is present is more important than what is absent, right? We need to have something descriptive for our analytics methods to work. So in that case, we'll have something called as the golden features list. And this variable will basically contains all of the features that will be associating with respect to why our sales price is as high as it is, guys. So this variable called as the golden features list will have all of the features, guys. So basically we're creating a variable where we're finding out the correlation, and then we can already check out the top 10 correlated values which are strongly correlated. By correlated, again, let's say let me give you a quick impact. Basically, we have described this in the descending order, as you can already check out. So the first thing here is overall quality. Again, to transcribe this into literal terms, overall quality of the house, whatever the rating that was given in our data set, is mattering the most of how the houses is being priced. Again, the living area of it, the number of garages you can park is having almost 64% impact of with respect to why the price is like that. Garage area is having a 62% impact. The basement square footing has a 61% impact, and then the year it was remodeled and changes made is having a 50% impact of why the house price, the sales price is like that, guys. So looking at a couple of linear relationships, you can pretty much find out that a lot of values are zeros that I just walked you through a couple of seconds. And look at that. With respect to our, again, the ground floor living area, we have a very little number of zeros. With respect to the sales price, again, check out the basement surface area again. With respect to the total basement surface area, again, even here as well. So look at all these tiny dots which are sticking taking up to 0 with respect to sales price. So these have no impact for our sales price because they're not giving us any valid linear data. Look at this again with 0. Oh, it is raised up to a lot, about $600,000, right? So all these are not adding any meaning to our data. So if x is equal to 0, again, this might indicate that that house does not have that feature at all. So if this is 0, this house does, a lot of houses do not have pools here. So pool area is 0. So in that particular case, we need to remove all of these zeros so that we can go on to finding more correlated values that we can actually use to go about working with it. Case again, here's all of the correlated values that we found as soon as we ran this command. Basically, we are sorting it again in the descending order to find out what helps most. And you can see that it's almost 80% of the total quality of the house, which matters when you're buying because of the price of the house, and people are actually preferring this. Living area, second floor surface area has a 67% chances of affecting the price, and so much more. And check out what the golden features list looks like with respect to all of the strongly correlated values we just found. Again, you're remodeled, you're built, so much more. So total surface area, again, number of full bathrooms, the first floor surface area, the garage area, total basement square footing, the number of cars you can park, the square footing of the second floor, the living area, and the overall quality. Again, in this particular order from the least to the highest is exactly what we're trying to find out with respect to exploratory data analysis, guys. So just looking at the data set, you could never figure out why the list price of a house was so much. And once we break it down into simple terms like this, we can find out that there is an 80% impact from the overall quality of the house, which the user is checking out to just consider the house or not. If the quality is very less, he will not pick up the house. If the quality is higher, then sure, he will pick up the house. So 80% of the reason why the price is set like that is a very important aspect of why the house price casing study is important, guys. Again, this has been a very important, very nice data set to work with, and you will get a lot of analytics that can be done using this particular data set as well, guys.
So a quick info, guys, in case you are interested in doing an end-to-end course in data analytics, please do check out Intellipaat's data analytics training course. It will help you to master the concepts of data analytics thoroughly. Details for the same is available in the description box below. Please do check out. Hey guys, hope you all like the video. If you have any questions, clarifications, concerns, please do put it down in the comment section below. We are happy to assist you. So thank you so much.